and it'll
I
you
see.
can start and you can start to record.
Okay, what's the debate?
It's Goku
It's
versus
Goku versus Jojo.
Jester. Wait,
Goku versus who?
Jojo.
I don't know. You know how to do Jester? Well, you probably just saw Tamaki scaling. Never mind. What's your
No,
name?
I'm not using so. I'm using like the regular shit.
Yo,
It's like
SecretEye, you're debating? Fountain JoJo?
Nah.
Or who are you using? Who are you using?
It just depends on whether I get the bump. I'm gonna start off with Cappy though.
With
Take
who?
Josuke Part A. Josuke Part A. I'm gonna start off with Josuke Part A.
I'm just using JoJo stands in general.
Okay, no, I'll just JoJo stand.
Yeah, and like if I give the bump to one of the stands, then I'll just get a different one.
I can give you one.
It's just directly. Yeah. He's gonna put the wonder of you. Some stuff. I can't wait.
Oh my god, Justin, why do you hate JoJo so much?
The wonder of you. I already beat up the best one. So I might as well go after the rest of it because you really done me a comics. I got bored and made the video. Alright. Tamaki, you can start.
Why do people duck you on comments?
Because they're scared. Tell me when you start recording, Tamaki. Tamaki. Okay.
Are you cool with like wiki standards and like 10-minute or 5-minute like? Yeah, and like battle wiki, I guess.
SBA nigga.
Yeah, 10.
You mean versus battle wiki like VSBA
What?
versus battles? VSBA?
Not like they decide like the scaling, but in terms of like the tiering system.
No, yeah. Like that's how the tiering system works, standard battle assumptions. You know, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's what I go on. Okay, so
Yeah.
first I'll go on to like my stand because my basically what my whole argument based around Goku's scales above and is much faster in every stand is one faster. So I'll go into stand.
Okay. My premise is that stands in general scale above Goku and speed
Scale
above.
above Goku. Speedless. That's a new one. That's a new one. That's very interesting. Right?
Speed Blitz?
Okay. So
I mean,
So it was stated, right, that Goku's fight with Beerus was gonna destroy the entire universe, or the entirety of that universe, Universe 7. Okay? Universe 7 is an interesting construct because it is a multiversal construct. So I'll show you that. So Universe 7 contains more than Universe 7 contains more than one universal world. Correct?
it 4D, but not like universal in size.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying like
Hold on.
BB, mute yourself.
What's your calculation for universal size? Because you know the universe is infinite in Dragon Ball, right?
universal size. Like if you go read like the note 1 or 2, like in like scaling them off of each other, you can get like one of those like kind of like planets, basically to like universal or like as like a 4D construct, right? But then be like, okay, yeah, since the universe like 7 is much bigger than that, or like 5 times bigger, then it must be like 5 times bigger our like normal universe. So I'm not like saying like each one is like I'm saying like each one is just like universal like in size.
Okay, so it's a different infinity. Like,
yeah, I'm saying that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you just like upskill the character. That's fine. That's cool. So it's a little more. Alright. So Goku's low multi, he beat a time stop. He moved beyond what would be contained as linear time. So I'll pull that up for you if you want. Yeah, I got you.
Hey, that's crazy.
No. I'm just doing Goku versus JoJo Sins.
If I beat you, you have to teach me DC.
Yo, Jester, stop, bro. Please stop.
Don't.
Don't use the time stop. Just you know what it is. Please. You know how it's wrong. Please, just don't do it like that.
no.
Using his time stop
It's
thing.
Yeah.
You know how Dragon Ball.
Rat. Justice a rat. Justice a rat.
Jester, you know how Jester, you know how Dragon Ball physiology works. Don't do him like that, bro. Please.
Jumped already.
So Jester, you see how it says that that because he is less strong than him, that hit doesn't work effectively. So basically, it's like saying that basically hacks.
That's
If you read the bottom, it says
Yeah, that's cap. Look, I'm explaining to you why that's cap. Because literally right after this, they were literally going straight relative and strength. They're literally shown to be relative. They're literally shown to be relative strength. Like this whole fight, they're shown to be.
I mean, it says that it has to be equal or less than. So it's shown that he's overwhelmed here. I'll
overwhelmed. Or the anime, the anime and the manga are different canon.
I mean, yeah, yes, of course, but I mean, they're so relative to each other because the anime did come out before the manga or air.
I guess, but if you show the anime, all they're gonna show you is them still being relative even after he beat his time stop.
I mean, not necessarily, because what happens is that Jiren completely stomps hit, and then Goku is relative to hit. I mean, sorry, not hit.
Jiren beat his time stop because they literally said he's a being that's above time itself.
You said that
that's why he moved the time stop.
So it says that if he's higher in strength, like I can get you a scan where he's basically saying that he's tired, right? It's based on his strength. It's not like a real time stop. And as Goku, if you're saying the count, then I guess I'm not using that. But it's just stated that here.
SecretEye. So you don't think somebody getting stopped in time and then being able to react to being stopped in time and moving through a time stop is immeasurable speed? Do you know what that is?
I'm pretty sure that's infinite speed because time to them is zero.
What? Movement beyond linear time. Immeasurable.
Yeah, the time skip is moved along with time skip, that would be immeasurable, but moving in a time stop itself, I'm pretty sure is not immeasurable.
Alright, I'll put it up. Speed tier.
Jester, I hate you. Never use Goku ever again.
No, I had to.
Never use it again.
Actually, some AIDS. This is
Don't worry about it. Don't worry, there's an even rattier one coming after this.
Well, no, you're right. You're right about the time stop thing, but the way you
making this fast.
No,
Okay, ready? Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Are we just gonna do it?
No, SecretEye. Yeah, I'm using versus battle. Okay, ready? Okay, infinite speed is to be able to travel anywhere instantly or move an infinite distance within a finite amount of time, right? So now we're in a situation where there is no time to stop. So this is no longer linear time. So now, immeasurable, movement beyond linear time. This is why speed cannot be measured. You can't measure the speed equation, which, the speed equation is, or they use to measure speed and stuff like that. Versus
Time appears to be zero because it's not moving. It's not non-existent. It's just zero.
No. Okay. I'm gonna explain it to you again.
So time is still moving linearly. It's just not moving linearly.
No. Infinite speed is to be able to travel anywhere instantly or move an infinite distance within a finite amount of time. Right? There is no more time. So if there's no more time, you can't measure his speed. Because T.
So you're saying it's the time of void.
I'm about to explain. The speed equation is speed equals distance over time. If T is undefined, the speed formula cannot be applied. When you cannot apply the speed formula to somebody, that is what grants them immeasurable speed via versus battle. Literally verbatim say this. like it's
So are you
literally
trying to say
stated.
that it's like a time is void, or that time isn't like is
No,
non-existent?
if you move faster than like a time stop or you beat a time stop, right? You're a measurable speed. Literally how it works because your speed cannot be defined. You're moving where there is no time.
I mean, it's
And,
still a time skip, and as well as it's still time skip as well as it's stating that is based on someone's strength relative to him, and it says that Goku has not only closed the power gap existed between the two, but blah blah blah. He's like going beyond him, and you also
no,
said that like
it's more
after
no, it's more so Goku.
you
No, no,
also
no.
said that they
It's
were
more than
relative to
that.
each other
Yeah,
after
they're relative in
they're
strength.
providing.
They're relative in strength because you try to make a claim
And can
that
you like
Goku just
provide proof of that?
hold up. That yes, for sure. The whole time, it just happens to be Goku adapted to that technique, to the time stop. Close and then get just pull up like how the fight was going. Where was it? Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is why the DB manga is a little weirder than like the damn. Hit. He was holding back during the fight. Right, he's fighting Goku. Blah blah blah. They're going crazy. They literally say he was holding back against Goku. Like, no. Yeah, they literally say he was holding back against him during the fight. I'll show you like him relative to Goku. Literally relative in strength. He actually fails to hit him a bunch of times. Beat up the guy.
So doesn't that just prove that based on how much power he's using or his power level, it is or is not effective against him? Because beforehand he wasn't trying or like he didn't.
It's a hack. It's a hack.
Hmm?
You know that. You know
Well,
what
yeah,
a hack does?
it's hex based.
Yeah, a hack like negs their ability. Like
It's
you
not
could
hacks,
say,
it's hex
look,
based. Its ability is based on
I'm gonna explain to you why. Even though Jiren like conquered, right? Like Jiren conquered like or that guy transcended the time, conquered that time stop, like the fall ability, right? You know that Goku now, like, I think it was stated that Hit really was holding back against Goku, which is one, right? You already know that because he wasn't using any of his actual technique. Two, right? Goku only actually conquered this technique until after this. So when he did this, they were relative in strength. Maybe he's even weaker than it, as a matter of fact. So yes, when he did pull off was, moving above linear time. He moved through a time stop, or he moved where he was stopped in
I
time.
mean, it says he closed the gap. So in this, like in the
no
course of
time.
the scan, that's where they're equal to each other. Not the one, but the first one he sent. So that's when they're equal to each other. And it says if he's like equal to or less than them, then it won't work. As well as Jin
Did you
didn't
not
use
hear
a
anything I
time
just said?
cage.
Did you not hear anything that I just said?
No, I heard what
Yeah,
you said,
he
but it was
literally
a time
yeah,
cage.
he's suppressed this entire fight. He's not stronger than Hit. Hit's holding back. Hit in
No,
reality
then the
is
relative
way
is
stronger.
relative.
Yeah. In this fight, while Hit's holding back, Hit is relative to Goku because we know Hit is not using any of his actual techniques. Goku now only actually conquered this ability until afterwards when he killed Goku, not holding back. So, and then after he killed Goku, Goku revived himself, and went on to adapt to the, fighting style and what was the time stop and him hiding in a different dimension, him backing through a different dimension, right? So that's like the context of what happened afterwards. That's when Goku legitimately conquered it with power. That's literally what he did. But here, he's actually like relative in strength. Hold up. Here, he's actually relative in strength and or weaker than Hit, right? It just so happened that he moved through a time stop or time skip where there is no time. When you move when there is no time, that is a measurable speed. That's how it works. You moved undefined time. The speed formula no longer can equate to how fast you're moving because it's like beyond infinite now.
Yes. So you're explaining the fucking sequence of events, right?
Uh-huh.
But it still doesn't change the fact that Hit was only greater than Goku for a certain amount of time after he stopped holding back. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what he can use. It at least literally states that he surpassed the difference between their power, meaning he surpassed Hit in this moment, and Hit's obviously overwhelmed, and he forced him to go to a different power level where his hacks would still
And he's
work on
still
him.
holding back.
So it doesn't change the fact that it's still dependent on whether it is emitting enough energy.
Why I gave that context, like the reason why I gave that context, is because I don't think you understand like what I was telling you. He says he starts powering up some more because he was literally still holding. He was holding back even more in the beginning of the fight. He's powering up, right, just to match Goku a little. He's still holding back because why? Hit's not using any of his actual good abilities and or techniques, and still doing that,
Just
right?
basically
That
he's
is
going
like
for power.
suppressing your. You did not hear anything I told you. He literally killed Goku after this. Why do you think he killed Goku after this? Because he's not holding back anymore. You understand that, right? That Goku hired him to kill him, and he killed him because he's not holding back, right? Something that he couldn't do here because he's not allowed to kill Goku. So him suppressing himself, not wanting to kill Goku, is what led to them being somewhat relative. Goku is still under this guy, right? He adapted to the technique of a time stop, right? He adapted to it, which made him faster because that's what Saiyans do. They gain strength throughout, an intense sequence of moments. So he just, went through it. He adapted to the technique and he moved through zero time. He literally just adapted to the technique and moved through zero time. And then he's like, went on to,
It literally
beat a
it
time
just
state.
says at this moment he's above him, and then it goes to this other moment where he's below him, and that's when it works. I mean, I like you're explaining it like it's just getting circular at this point. Like it doesn't matter really, like if like how it goes. The rule of Hit's ability still stays the same when he's below Goku. And it sounded like you contradicted yourself as well there because
No,
you said, okay, now he's above him, and then Hit powers up, and now he's above Goku, and that's why he was able to kill Goku. So like right now, it just sounds like you're
it's not a
still like
power up. It's
applying
literally,
the same logic.
no, I'm
It's
just telling you,
showing in the
it's just
scan, and
common
he
sense.
says, "What
It's
the hell
just
is this?
common
He's been
sense.
holding back
Hold
the
on.
whole time."
Because you're not understanding what I'm telling you, right? He's holding back the entire fight. That's literally all I'm telling you. He's holding back the entire fight. He starts powering up there, right? He's still holding back because he kills Goku when he's not holding back anymore. That's literally how it works. So if I'm telling you he's holding back the entire fight, Goku isn't in reality isn't really above this guy. Like in this whole fight, he's fighting him suppressed. He's fighting him suppressed. You get that, right?
I
He's
never
literally fighting him suppressed.
as it's based on power level. That's what I said. I mean, we could just conclude here. I mean, it's just gonna become circular because we both stated our reasoning. We could just do like a fucking poll. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so what is your? Did you even give reasoning why this is like a measurable speed?
Yeah, my reasoning was that it stated that it's based on how much power he's emitting. If he's emitting more power or using more power than his opponent, it will work. If he's emitting less, then it won't work. It's shown. And then at some point, it became circular when trying to go back to the reasoning that the sequence of events like led him to surpass that Hit surpassed Goku and him being above Goku rather than him just using more energy for his hacks like based ability to work. So yeah,
Is that your conclusion?
so yeah, that's my conclusion.
Okay. Okay. In conclusion, I think I've shown that not only they were relative, but it is above Goku while being suppressed because we already didn't even act this and so we already like agreed upon a non-suppressed hit insta-killing Goku, right? Using those types of techniques. And then during the fight we could see like a suppressed hit just beating like just like easily dodging and evading a powered up Goku with like, ease, showing that this suppressed hit would be above this Goku, right? Meaning Goku under hit, and if Goku's under hit in this fight, he didn't use pure raw strength to overpower a time stop. If Goku gets stopped in time, or if somebody stops you in time, and you manage to move within that stop time, that is moving in undefined time via definitions of versus battle wiki, right? That grants you immeasurable speed if you're moving in undefined time. That infinite. Since that was his first state, that would be infinite speed. So that was the first thing we went over. That's not infinite speed. That would be immeasurable universes. That was definitely if we dropped that there, right? Then we went into like the context of what was happening this fight. So I don't think he was understanding that Goku was actually under a suppressed hit in this fight. Goku's weaker than a suppressed hit in this fight. He didn't really overpower the time skip. He just adapted to it. Him being a Saiyan, as I said before, right? He just adapted to it and moved in undefined time, evolving as a warrior, getting stronger and faster. He moved in an undefined time to top, and then that grants him immeasurable speed. That's basically my technique shit. Like, you can move forward again. Hello?
Jester, for a passive hack, are you gonna argue like immeasurable speed is just a nega passive hack?
I have scaling. You're gonna see. Alright. Where'd you go? Secret, are you here?
Jester,
Yeah,
bro,
I'm here.
go back to the
What's your
sewers you came from.
What's your scaling? What's the scaling use for JoJo? What's your scaling for JoJo?
Are we not like
Hold up.
doing like a poll or something? We're just going down to the next one. Okay. Here, I'll start with. Here it is. Bear with me now, because I'm not on like my regular setup is gonna like I'm gonna scan dump and then explain, because it's much easier than trying to
Okay. I'm back.
do both at
Hello?
the
Can you
same
say it again? I'm back. Hello?
time. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
So what's your scaling for JoJo? Yeah, what's up?
Well, I'm gonna just start off with D4C.
D4C? You can give
D4C Love Train. Just
scaling
by
for
the way,
D4C.
so it's like as you know, like basically, like I can argue like the stands are relative to their like masters or whatever you want to say. So like they move in synchronization with him, or like they protect whoever. Like for example, GR. So here we have an example of Funny Valentine like not being aware of Love Train or its ability, and it just activating on its own, kind of showing its passive. 1 second.
You going over hacks? So
Kind of. I
using
mean,
hacks?
it's closely related to
Yeah, just to let you
his
know,
ability.
if you don't scale to somebody, right? They could just overpower your hacks with pure strength. You know that,
If
right?
they're faster than you, if
No.
there's a
If some
passive hack.
no. If somebody, right, scales above you, for example, somebody who would be multiversal compared to somebody who is universal, the next entity would be infinitely more complex and Via would literally just overpower their hack. I could be a
Uh,
human, right? I'm gonna give you an example. I could be a human, right, with like some weird powers,
mhm.
some weird reality warping powers, but those reality warping powers only work on a planetary scale. If I have reality warping powers that only work on a planetary scale, right, against somebody who's multiversal, that's not working on them. He's literally just gonna overpower your hacks. And he's gonna kill you.
It just depends on what hacks you use. It just depends on what hacks you use.
No, it doesn't depend because every hack has a potency. There's always a potency to what your hack could output. Reality warping has a potency. So you have to show me what the potency of his
Mhm.
reality warping powers are. You can't just make assumptions.
Yeah.
So from what I'm looking at, like he has
Yeah.
reality warping to a certain degree on a planet, I'm guessing. I know the strongest guy who's done like the strongest reality warping output in JoJo that's been done so far is on a universal scale. I've seen it. So I want to know like what's the potency of this like power. If it doesn't really reach like where Goku is, which is like low multiversal, I could just dismiss it and say Goku could overpower your abilities.
1 second. Mm-mm-mm.
Okay.
1 second. Da-da-do. Still scan dumping. Okay, so basically the gap, what this is explaining is that the gap itself is the neighboring dimensions, or is a makeup of the neighboring dimensions. And
What's the
it's
gap? What's the
stated,
gap doing?
huh?
What's the gap doing? Can somebody like mute this nigga in Spanish chat? What? Whoa, he's violent. He's giving too much stuff.
Okay, so basically what this explains is that these are all like neighboring dimensions, like neighboring equal dimensions, and or parallel dimensions, and they're part of the gap. So basically, D4C is a gap in space, or the barrier, like which I'm showing is like passive, like I'll prove the potency, but basically he's moving in a gap of space that is a makeup of like infinite neighboring dimensions. So he's moving through multiple temporal dimensions, like moving through multiple dimensions which
Oh, so he's using
have
like
time.
dimensional travel to evade attacks, basically.
Not just
Oh
dimensional
yeah,
travel, but action. One of the first one, he's like, oh, actually, no, I didn't see that one. I'll send it in a second. But
he's
he's like action
essentially
moving within
yeah.
his gap, so it's not just going to a different dimension. He's moving within his gap. 1 second here, I'll find it for you. It also shows that he can go deeper into this like infinite, like already like an infinite construct. So it shows that he can go like delve deeper into like or stack another infinity on top of multi. So like if it's infinite neighboring multi plus, and then on top of that, he can move
Let me
deeper
see this.
or
Hold on,
like
hold on,
more
hold on,
thoroughly through it.
hold on,
So
hold on, hold on. The size stated for
the
this?
new
Give me a
scan. Look at
second.
the new scan.
Yeah, I saw it. Give me a second. I'm just reading your scan. Once it's crossed the dimensional wall, it's going to test at 4. Hold on, let me read you the previous one. Left, even in the neighboring world, there's only one, holding 1 and nothing. I found the neighboring world similar to ours. Their world would be another one. There was only 1 line left, but that's undeniable. Call it night. In other words, for President Valentine's into a neighboring world similar to this world I'm in, there isn't just one neighboring world with unknown number of numerous parallel dimensions. Blah blah blah. I've been looking for you.
It's like
Hold on. I'm reading. Just how many dimensions did I cross
mm-hmm.
looking for you? I finally found you alive. Wait, don't wait. Hold on. When is it stated these are like infinite?
Look at the new scan. Basically, Diego like says it's most likely. You could like argue it's subjective, and then Funny Valentine confirms it's infinite and like infinite neighboring dimensions that like exist in his
Oh, okay.
gap.
Look, that's there's like. Are you? I'm talking about like in between. So he talks about worlds, right? So I'm asking like in between these places, why is it infinite? Like why is it saying that it's infinite? Like do they say it's infinite? Do
Hmm.
they say it's infinite?
Yes.
Where? I know there's
It
an
says that they're
infinite in
like
number. Look,
that's
there's an infinite in number, but what's the size?
similar to this world I'm in. Like they're kind of like this. There isn't just one neighboring world. There's an unknown number of numerous parallel worlds. So they're like similar and parallel, as well as I can get you another scan of essentially Funny Valentine explaining how all like the worlds are very similar, but in each different one that like the corpse is an anomaly and it only exists in theirs. And then in another one, it's about diamonds, and another one is about gold, blah blah blah, like so on and so forth. I can get that for you, but they're basically all like compared to each other and said to be parallel, similar, blah blah blah. Here. If you need that, I can get it, but I'm pretty sure the one scan with Diego, yeah,
Hold on.
it
Before you go
says
on to that, you posted something for immeasurable time. Where's the immeasurable speed for you?
hmm?
I'm looking at it. Where's the
He's
immeasurable speed
moving
for you
in
again?
this gap of space. He's
He's
moving in
moving in a
temporal dimensions
he's moving in a gap of space.
and multiple temporal dimensions. Yeah, he's moving in a gap of space that's made up of multiple temporal dimensions.
Okay, so it's okay. That's fine. I'm just looking through it. I don't really see where it says like any of these things are infinite.
Hmm.
Like your cross
So if
dimensional
you see where the
wall
guy
within
said, unless
infinity.
it's a hack that's bypassing scaling, read that scan.
Where a hack that bypasses scaling.
So the guy Uzi Cardi, he says unless it's a hack that bypasses scaling. Like right after that, I sent one at 3:31 where it's basically Diego explaining it, and
You
then
don't want to do that.
Funny Valentine.
You don't want to do. You want to
Most
go to
recent
the
one.
versus battles or what they explain to what the hacks do.
What?
You wanna go to
No,
versus
I'm
battles
not
to
talking
explain
about
what
what he
hacks
said.
do.
I'm talking about the scan that explains it. I'm talking about like where to look. Like if you're looking around and you're lost, look for where that guy said that, and then okay, never mind. He deleted. Well, no, he didn't. But just look around for where Uzi over Cardi said Jester spitting TBH
I
crying
I
emoji
deleted
unless
it.
it's hacks,
I
and
think I
then
deleted
right
it.
there.
I think I deleted it.
Jester. Okay, I got you, bro. Give me a sec.
I deleted it.
Here, I'll
Which
ping you.
skin is
Jester.
it? Yes, ping this skin.
I got
There.
you. Here, Mr. Jester the Rat. That's your
I'm
nickname.
not
from now
ratting.
on. Yes, you are, Jester. Shut up, you are.
Not ratting. Not ratting.
Yes, you are. Shut up.
Yeah, I read this, but I just asked them like, why are they all inherent? Yeah, I asked you why are they infinite inherent?
I mean that's stated somewhere else, but that's the one that says that they're like parallel
Yeah, they're
and
parallel dimensions.
similar.
Parallel dimensions. Why are they all infinite inherently? So I'm asking.
Because he said they're similar or that they're equal to.
Yeah, why are they all infinite?
1 second. I mean, standard battle assumptions is that like a universe or like a
No, it's
universe. Like if
not.
there's someone just says they're gonna destroy the universe.
No, the universe, our universe so far is a finite number. There's a finite number that grants you universe. Uni plus is something else. Uni plus is infinite.
I mean, it's still like standard battle. Wait, repeat that.
You could be universal, right? There's universal, and then there's uni plus. You know what the difference between those two are?
Yes.
Okay. What's the
One is
difference?
infinitely like 3D size.
Yeah, one is infinite, and the other is a finite number. Correct? So we could be talking
Yeah.
about a finite number right here. So it's not uni plus. So it doesn't stack up. It's just a finite number that would add up to just universal plus, a universal plus feet. So I want you to prove why it's infinite. If you can't, not multi plus.
Create a destroy a universe at least the size around, but not infinitely bigger.
Man's shook.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a finite space. I mean, sorry, infinite space to be universally sized.
Yeah, that's why I said there's uni and uni plus. There's two
Yeah.
differences. That's fine.
So why would I have to prove that it's infinitely sized to prove that it's the size of the universe?
Okay. If you stack two finite numbers, they reach infinity.
Of course not.
Okay. So two finite universes will still be under a universal plus one that's infinite in size, right?
I mean, yeah, on their own.
Okay, so it's still under uni plus. Because one,
And
it's
no.
like
On their
common
own,
sense.
they're regular universally sized. But if you're saying there's an
Okay,
infinite amount of
yeah.
universally sized,
But uni plus is something else entirely. Bro, if you have a universe that's finite in size, right? And stack it upon another universe that's finite in size, on top of another universe that's finite in size, on top of another universe that's finite in size, you can stack like 100 of those. That's still not infinite, right? So those 100 finite number in size universes against a universe that's infinite in size, those 100 universes wouldn't scale to the universe that's infinite in size, correct?
no, it wouldn't have to be you wouldn't have to prove that the universe is infinitely sized to prove that they stack. If there's an infinite amount of like finite,
That's not what I told you. I told you that 100 finite universes don't scale to a universe that's infinite in size. That's all I said. Correct?
Of course not, but it's an infinite amount.
Right.
It's
So what I'm saying, like he said, he stacks a couple on top of each other. I'm just saying that are these universes infinite? That's all I asked him before because I want to get down to like I want to dissect this scaling a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So I don't think these universes are infinite in size. Right? They're probably finite universes. So if you affect the universe and let's state it to be it's finite, right? So a bunch of finite universes don't scale to a an infinite universe or a uni plus piece. The uni plus is already above all that. So If he's stacking a couple,
But only if you're
hold on,
only if you're
yeah,
stacking.
if he's stacking a couple finite universes against each other, right? It doesn't really say that he's using all of them at the same time and stacking all of them at the same time to move, right? To move it. So he's moving a couple finite universes, right? So like, I don't really know how this is like multi plus.
But it's a false equivalence. You're comparing a finite to like a finite, like stacking on a finite number. It says, what is it saying? It says who are like characters who are capable of affecting, creating, or showing a countably infinite number of space-time continuums. So it could be infinitely. I mean, so it could be finitely sized, infinite amount of space-times.
What, an infinite amount of space-time?
Multiverse.
I'm back.
Multiverse
What did you
level.
just say?
So go to multiverse level. It says characters who can significantly create or destroy large multiverses, or characters who can capable of slightly affecting, creating, or destroying a countable infinite number of space-time continuums.
Okay, these aren't infinite.
And it's infinite. Can prove it's infinite universes.
Oh my god! You're not getting what I'm saying. If
Oh, funny. Whoever said that.
You didn't get what I'm saying. You didn't get what I'm saying. If they're not infinite, they're not infinite in size. Neither of them, right?
So, I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's an infinite amount of finite.
That's not what I said. Okay, how many for D4C? How many was he stacking there?
Infinite.
He stacked infinite dimensions at that one moment, and D4C went through them.
That's the gap. Yes, explain this. You have no contention.
Hold on.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna look at it. Let me scroll back up. Let me see. He crossed the dimensional wall.
I literally stated that there's a gap in space. That's a composition of all the universes. I mean, all the space-time continuums, continuums, and the neighboring parallel dimensions. And I literally stated that, and you had no contentions. And they're asking
still reading through it. No, we're having contentions right now. What are you talking about? I was literally still reading through it. So I'm giving you my contentions to your scaling right now. Like I was literally in the middle of reading everything. I didn't just say, okay, fine, move on. I'm not gonna do that. That's dumb. So I was literally just still reading through it. So let me see. So he says there isn't just one neighboring world, an unknown amount of parallel worlds. Then he hold on.
Look, characters who are capable of significantly affecting, creating, or destroying a countably infinite number of space-time continuums.
Then he asks, how many dimensions did I just cross? Right? Answer, what does it mean? Once crossed the dimensional wall, what's it going to do? Just his arms, this is a bad place for me. I have to run deeper, right? Okay, here it is. This place is infinite, and I can't even read it. Infinite and neighboring dimension. Okay, there it is. That's all I needed to know. So he stacked a bunch of like finite units. Okay. So he stacked an infinite number of finite universes on top of each other, and that equates to infinite. Right?
Okay. Are you saying infinite like high universe? It equates to multiverse. Plus.
A bunch of finite, infinite number of finite universes equates to multi-plus.
Yes, it says characters. Okay, here.
Now, and for the people that think I'm ratting, that think 100 finite universes are larger than one infinite universe, please take me after this because that's.
You're right. No, you're right about that one.
Exactly.
Jester,
Don't say I'm ratting because it's not ratting.
No, Jester, I'm saying something else.
No, not that point. Not that point.
Yeah, I was ratting though. Look, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was ratting on the measurable. I was ratting on a measurable speed. I'm ratting on a measurable speed, right? I'm still getting a hand of the scaling.
It's actually honestly alpha.
I also disagree with your low multi-scaling. I'll explain to you why later.
You already accepted, I don't
know.
Yeah, I know, but I'll just explain to you why it's kind of ratting.
Hacks potency.
I don't think it's ratting. Hacks and potency? Did you not see the Doge debate? Okay, you know what?
What happened with the Doge debate? What happened with the Doge debate? Tell me about that.
No, let's continue. I'll tell you that.
Only like if your existence is 4D would let you bypass a 3D stack.
An infinite number of finite universes, right? So an infinite number of finite universes, you know what that equates to? What do you think that equals?
Repeat that.
An infinite number of finite universes. What do you think that equals? Is that not equivalent to an infinite space? So uni
Repeat
plus
that one more time. You're a
infinite.
bit quiet.
Okay,
You turn on my
an
volume.
infinite number of finite universes, and then one infinite uni plus infinite, right? That's infinite compared to an infinite number of finite universes. That's not the same. That's the
Are you
same
trying
thing.
to say that an infinite amount of space-time continuums is only equal to one? Is someone moving? Okay, it's only equal to one. Is only equal to high uni.
So,
Is that what you're saying?
so these are parallel worlds, right? These are parallel worlds. I already explained like uni plus is infinite, right? So you just like I don't think you proved that each of these universes are. So we're going by the what would be like the actual like fine assumption that these universes are finite until stated otherwise. So if we have a finite universe, right, and you stack a bunch of finite universes, right, to stop somebody from reaching you, and you stack them an infinite amount of times. You stack a finite universe an infinite amount of times so somebody didn't reach you. So he broke through it. So he broke through what was a layer of an infinite amount of finite universes between him and the other person. That is just equaling 3 plus. It's just infinite. That's one infinity. He stacked a bunch of finites in an infinite amount of time. One infinity. Uni plus. I don't know the dudes that I'm ratting on. This isn't ratting. It's like how it works.
No, this is a fine point. This is a fine point. It's not writing on this. Speed, yes. Everyone can agree speed was
No, bro. His speed scaling is always a little.
Jester, shut up, bro. We know you use a measure of speed because you don't have a calc for Goku. We know how you use it. It's okay. We know you don't have the 17 quintillion 5 quadrillion scale for Goku.
Yeah, you sound like a nerd, Tim.
I'm
just gonna keep it a buck with you. You sound like a nerd.
Okay. SecretEye. So I don't think
So
you have
doesn't
much
it?
consensus.
Okay, I'm looking back now at what you're saying, and it's making more sense. But doesn't it say that it says infinite or finite amount of infinite without accounting for higher dimensions or time? So wouldn't it be?
You said they're parallel to each other. You literally admitted they were the same. So if it's the same world, the same finite world, all he's doing is stacking the same finite world with a different amount of time to make a barrier between him and himself. Gojo does this better because this guy broke through it. Gojo literally does this better. Unironically. Unironically. Like no fun
Got a
business.
stiffy.
Unironically.
Got a stiffy.
Shut up, Jester.
So yeah, so I think
Gave
what
me
he
a
just showed me
stiffy.
was
What
like
about Gojo?
a uni plus feat compared to like a low multi build.
It's called a stiffy because I heard Gojo.
I feel like this is the first time he's heard this.
To be honest.
Bro, he's shook. He's literally shook. He's like me when I did a dead boy. He's thinking for like 20 minutes to get a rebuttal now. Don't worry, I did this with dead boy.
I mean, I'll just rescale someone else.
You're gonna rescale another character.
Oh god. Most people don't rescale.
I wanna go eat soon, so wow. So
Okay.
you're dropping the
I'll just go.
Jester, don't you dare act like the victim today. Don't you dare.
No, I'm not.
Don't just say I got
Okay,
you.
so alright, I'm just gonna So you're saying like by the way with the hack point, are you saying like Durneg if he only has like only a high uni like feats in terms of AP, then are you saying like Durneg wouldn't work on Goku?
No. Stupid.
Okay. Wait.
Like the same thing.
So if I scaled him to the same speed, but okay. Actually,
the same speed.
Let me try before I
bro,
move.
I think he's standing. Bro, if I'm like out of reversal and I'm standing still, right? And let's just say I have no speed, just for the fun of it, and I'm out of reversal and I'm standing still, right? You could be universal. You're not doing any damage. Like unironically.
To be honest.
1 second.
So that's literally just how it works.
Okay, so if they're the same speed and Funny Valentine has a form of durability negation where it doesn't really account for like his AP in terms of like, oh, you can bypass like this person's.
What's
Like
funny,
he
Valentine's?
clones.
What's funny, Valentine's?
So yeah, he clones. Whoa, 1 second. So he clones. So let's say hypothetically, he clones. I'm not. I have the
Clone Goku.
Jotaro like Durane, but
Wait, you
basically,
never
yeah.
remember
If he
it.
clones Goku to exist in the same universe as like himself, then like I could argue since
Hold
they're
up.
the same speed,
Hold up.
this Durane doesn't account for his AP.
Oh, it's so debunkable by verse
Oh
equalization.
yeah, I'm back. So what do you say?
I'm saying I'd like to argue that this type of Durane wouldn't necessarily account for Goku's like in terms of
What's
like he only
let
has
me see.
high uni.
What's the Darren like?
He can clone anyone and they can't exist in the same world, so he'd like immediately die.
He can clone anyone.
Like
Anyone,
was
even
shown
people stronger than him.
I mean, unless you prove he's like beyond like his comprehension or like
Yeah,
dimensionally infinitely above.
If somebody who's universal compared to somebody who's multi, right?
Yeah.
The next entity would be infinitely more complex than the previous one, right? So
Dimensionally, but in terms of AP,
making
you prove that
no,
multi
yeah,
is
that's
different
AP.
dimension.
If you're infinitely more complex than another entity, right? Just assuming that a hacks would work on them when it is only shown to be done on one scale, there's no limit fallacy.
Dimensionally, can you prove that there's a difference like dimensionally between like
if I scale,
someone who's
if I'm infinities above your character, if I'm literal infinities above your character, as a matter of fact, your character doesn't even have scaling right now. So I'm literally infinities more complex than your character. If I'm infinities more complex than your character won't even like comprehend mine. So he just kill you. He'd one shot you.
well, I mean, in terms of AP, but I'm like once
AP,
again,
that's literally
you
what it
debunk
says.
the
That's
high
what it
uni.
says on versus battle, right? Hacks won't work on a person who's infinitely more complex than somebody else. Haxes always have a certain potency, right? So you can't just say this hack will work on him just because it's been shown to not have any limit. So you have to show me what like the potency of like that ability is, right? And you can't just say it has no potency, it just affects
Okay.
anybody, or that's a no limit fallacy.
Okay. Well, I'll move on from that then. I'll scale like Wonderview / like Gappy.
Okay,
God,
so you're dropping this one.
Oh, bro, let me get the illogical one review out so I can help him. Let me get the illogical
Alright,
one.
listen.
Then after that, get
That's
the
the
boundless one. Get the boundless one.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna get a couple things to prove that Calamity is passive or ensues when someone pursues. So do I have to go through the trouble getting a ton of these scans, or do you agree that like Calamity like activates when someone intends to pursue?
When somebody, I already know about that intent to pursue stuff. It's a matter of fact, will the hack work on
Okay,
somebody?
so you agree.
No, hold on. Yeah, I don't care. Like he's using like weird like causality hacks.
Okay,
That's fine.
so you agree that it's like passive like Calamity is like logic, right?
Like logic. No.
Here, I'll send you a scan. One second. So there you
You're
go.
trying to say he's illogical? Oh, you're putting this rat stuff on me? So you're gonna say he's
No,
illogical?
I haven't said. I didn't say that.
Call a strawman. Call a strawman.
No, it's not a straw man.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
asking.
Call a strawman.
What?
Call a
I asked
straw
him a
man.
question.
Call a
I asked
strawman.
him a question.
Let's do a Trails thing.
I asked him a question. What?
Doesn't matter. Call a strawman.
Just
That's so
chill.
right.
Yeah, you should debate Trails. You just call.
Okay, Mr. Goku, measurable speed.
I'm too cold.
Oh, Goku.
Alright, 1
Goku
second.
moves in time up and measurable speed. Oh.
Alright, so the intent or thought of pursuit, pursuit, blah 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 blah. Calamity is the flow of logic and reason, and blah blah blah.
And what the hack does is it just sends you somewhere else, right? That's the hack. I know. I've read a bunch of this already. It just sends you somewhere else. You tend to pursue him and like affects you and sends you somewhere else, right?
No, stated that it'll kill.
Shook.
It will kill you because like
Let's
I
say
read
that.
it grabs you, sends you some. Whoa, that was like he's doing some craziness, bro. On what scale does this hack work? Before we even continue, on what scale does this hack work?
I mean, it's based in logic. It's not necessary. He's
No,
basically just hacked.
if it's on a planetary scale, that's cool. That's fine. It's not gonna affect somebody
Some of these, like, objective
infinities
logic
more.
are like,
Your character, bro, your character has no scaling. You're not touching somebody. Your infinities more complex than him. It's the same thing I went over. Your character, you have like no scaling to this guy either. It's like dirt level right now, or like what I'm making the assumption to be human level, right? So you have a human level like with like planetary level hacks against somebody who's infinities more complex. That's fine. What? That's not touching my character. He's gonna one shot.
that's not necessarily how.
Look, you
One
just
second.
dropped what? You dropped one. You dropped two characters so far, right? So now we're on a different character, which you have no speed scaling for and no AP scaling. So
Passive. It's passive. So when someone
passive.
intends
I
to
don't care.
pursue, a calamity takes place. So think about
I'm telling you,
objective logic.
what is not?
It doesn't
care.
matter.
Your
You can't
character,
just dismiss
it's
him in
reality
terms of his
warping.
AP.
It's reality warping, right? You know, reality warping has potency.
So you understand that, like, if someone is illogical or not bound by logic, it's not
So now
because
you
he's
are saying they're
below
illogical. Why is he
that
illogical?
level of logic.
Why is
It's
he
not bound by
illogical?
dimensionality.
No. Why is he illogical?
Here, 1 second. He's not. He's not illogical.
He's
I'm not
not
arguing he's illogical.
illogical.
1 second.
You're saying the hacks is illogical.
I'm not arguing that he's illogical. I'm not
So
arguing
what are
that
you
he's
saying?
illogical.
So what's illogical? The hacks?
I'm not done scaling. You interrupted my scaling. I'm not done.
No, I'm asking you. What are you trying to say so we can speed this up? He's not illogical? So we got through that. He's not illogical, right? Is the hack illogical? The ability that he's using is that illogical?
No. So he doesn't contain, but he decides or dictates what happens based on calamity. So calamity is a flow of logic and reason, and if someone intends to pursue him or intends to attack him, then they'd have to be above logic to succeed in getting past the calamity, which is shown as I sent you the scans.
No,
which basically mean no.
That's not necessarily correct because we've seen that his hacks actually has a potency to it when he actually got scared that somebody got a little bit close to him. Correct? Okay, so if I pull up when he's literally saying, "Oh, you got this close to me," right? That's not a potency. That's not. Hold on, actually, let's pull it up. I know that scan. I had that scan. Let's go pull it up. No, actually, I know that. I know exactly what that scan is.
So it basically.
Hold up. Stay right there. Don't continue. I got you something. I'm gonna pull up a scan on you. I want you to remember. Where was it? Blah blah blah. I know I posted this somewhere. Ready? So somebody with normal speeds, right? Easily logical human being, right, was able to do this. Started moving, the hacks wasn't working, and the nigga got close to him, a centimeter away from him. And this guy has no scaling. This guy has no real speed scaling. It's just a normal nigga, right? So his hacks does have a potency to it. As we know, reality warping hacks inherently have a potency to it. Just assuming that they don't, no limit fallacy. So this hacks has a potency to it, right? A character that's infinities more complex than him is not going to be affected by this unless you show me the hacks is multiversal. It makes no sense. If it's not, right, it's not really like a crazy no limit. There's no limits to what my power could be. There is, because the guy got shook up because somebody got close to him. I'm a regular human dude, right? So hacks have potency. Shown here, there's a potency to what he's able to do. He's not controlling or logic. It's just like what it does. There's a potency to what he's able to do with this, because he was actually surprised that some regular human got close to him. So somebody that's infinity more complex than him that he can't even comprehend or touch will body him. That's basically it.
Yeah. So basically, it's shown that it doesn't it's not based on that, and that's why Toru chose to hide himself. So it's shown here that the Wonder You basically doesn't care. Like, this is the closest anyone's got to him, and he allows that to happen because he literally one shots him. Well, he's actually one shot. He just walks away and whatever, I don't know, the plant appraiser, that's his name. The plant appraiser dies by a chair because
Did you not hear anything that I just said? Like left my mouth.
You're saying that it doesn't have an attack potency because someone got close to him, but I'm showing that he chose to as well with the first game.
I totally get it. Wait. That's not what I said. That's the opposite. That's the opposite of what I said. I said that it has a potency. It's shown to have a potency to what it's able to do. That's what I said, right?
You're saying it has a potency because this person doesn't immediately die, even though it's based on his whim.
Okay, so it has a potency, right? So just assuming, right, that a character. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question, right? I'm gonna ask you something real quick. Just assuming that a hack, right, that almost got him touched, or somebody else was actually walking through it. Just assuming, right, that a hack just work on anybody and these more complex. What do you think that is?
I mean, that's not what I'm comparing it to. It's like saying that like, let's take for example Superboy Prime. If you're saying that his retcon punch just doesn't work because someone like beat him up beforehand, or is like they can like destroy more than him, it's just like very stupid. Or saying that it can't affect beings that are like.
That's you know what? That's dumb. Don't bring comics into this. Secret. Don't bring comics into this because I'm just gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you up even worse now. I'm gonna beat you up any worse.
You're comparing
Secret
hacks such as durability negation to absolute like logic
manipulation
and absolute.
You know what? That's a bad example because now like you bringing comics into this, and you probably don't know what you're talking about. Why do you think his retcon punch didn't work on Darkest Night? Go ahead, tell me. Why didn't his retcon punch why didn't it work on Darkest Night? Let me know. I'm sitting right here. I'm sitting right here. Because he what?
Because Darkest Night has resistance to attacks, as shown.
Resistance to his attacks, right? Why?
Well, there's a number of reasons. Didn't he absorb perpetual? No. He didn't absorb perpetual. He absorbed and he was on par with perpetua. They're on an equal playing field.
He took their powers, right? All he did was take their collective energy and then start stealing crisis energy. And with that surplus of energy that he had, he tanked the punch and just got back up after Superboy's avatar died. So, yes, those type of hacks, if somebody's above you and scaling, not working.
Hold up.
That example you brought up killed you. What?
He has better resistance to his hacks.
Because he's stronger than him. He scales over him.
Well, they're both able to fight on par and comprehend each other. I don't know why you're trying to claim that he's like.
He's not using all his powers. You know that, right?
Of course not, but I mean, because
I don't think somebody like stronger than somebody else. If you use all your power and pack all your strength into one punch, right? His hacks is a hacks based off strength, by the way. He packed all his power into one punch and punched him, and the guy got up and started laughing. The next issue. I don't think you're stronger than somebody if you did that. And you died? Yeah, I don't think you're stronger than somebody if you did that.
I never claimed that you're stronger. I'm just saying, you trying to say that those specific types of hacks are just like bound by like specific speciality is just like bad.
Because I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. I'm gonna tell you again. If a hacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just assume it works on everybody. You have to show me what it's able to do. You have to show me a potency for the hack, right? Or unless if you don't, the no limit status must prove otherwise. Because you brought up the example of Superboy Prime's hacks, that killed yourself. Because the reason why his punch didn't work on that guy, because the guy scales over him. Too strong. So he ate the punch like a cookie. It's meaningless, right? That's a bad analogy. A bad analogy puts you deeper into the grave, right? Unless you show me a potency for the guy's hack, right? You can't just assume it works on somebody whose infinity's more complex than him, right? Because logically, you wouldn't even be able to comprehend somebody whose infinity's more complex than him. So unless you show me that this hack works on a multiversal scale, I'ma dismiss it, right? So if I'ma dismiss it, your hack doesn't work on somebody who's infinity's more complex than you, unless you show me otherwise. And if you just assume that it does, it's a no limit fallacy.
How's it no limits fallacy if it's something that isn't necessarily bound by dimensionality?
I'm sorry, I'm speaking Chinese. I have to. My bad. My bad. No, let me switch back
So,
to English. Am I speaking English now? Hello?
one second.
Okay, I think we're speaking English now.
Hello.
If
So,
somebody's infinity is more
so
complex than you logically cannot comprehend them unless shown otherwise when scaling to those people, right? Transduality? What's this?
So yeah, I'm about to explain. I'm about to explain. So basically, based on specific like platonic concepts, whatever you
This is
want to,
complemental scaling.
logicality.
This is complemental scaling.
Listen, listen,
I'm
listen,
ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
listen, listen.
I'm ready.
Uh, Based on that, things are like such as hacks or things that aren't necessarily like on a multiversal scale, like you might because space and time are non-physical or the concepts are non-physical themselves, right? You can't necessarily, unless like stated, like destroy them or like destroy that on a multiversal level. But if you're like stated to be over something that isn't like proven to be a specific like type of hacks or something that's not or something that is not bound by dimensionality, you can't just dismiss it with saying like, oh, they're infinitely above them. So this thing that isn't like bound by dimensionality in these cases just doesn't work, or he's just 40 or he's whatever. So if you go into plurality, where it basically says a state of being quantitatively beyond a spirit of the nature of distinction between duality and transduality, such characters do not obey the logic of obey the laws of normal logic at all. Blah blah blah. System logic altogether. So classical logic. That's basically saying that these forms of non-classical logic or illogicality isn't necessarily bound by like you being 4D or above them. So if someone has absolute logic manipulation or absolute like logic like distinction, right? You can't just dismiss it by saying like, oh, his hacks only scales to wall level. So I guess like his absolute like logic manipulation
Okay.
just doesn't count on this like on this level. Like it just
Okay. Ready?
work.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Ready? I'll let you talk now. So the scaling that you just attempted to use, like that like beyond like binary systems, zeros and ones, beyond like plurality and logicality and stuff like that, right? That's the complemental scaling, right? So the reason why that applies to that character and that doesn't apply to you, your hack, right, is based on the flow of logic, right? Which is like calamity, right? It's based on the flow of it and it redirecting the attack back to you, right? That's what it does. So if your hacks is based on the flow of logic and calamity, it is not an illogical hack and it wouldn't qualify for type floor plurality. That's stupid, right? So if it doesn't qualify for that, it's just a logical hack. He's a logical entity using logical abilities that are based on the flow of logic. So that's not plurality. That's just a hack, right? I'll give you an example. Hacks is that break. I'm gonna give you a good example right now. Why like this stuff applies. There are hackers that break logical barriers. For example, Toon Force entities in DC, right, break the like laws of logic, right? They are only able to do things on a certain scale though, because those type of abilities won't work on anybody who scales over them. They could Toon Force it up all they want. Hold up, give me a second. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Toon Force, right, is breaking the laws of logic. That can only work to a certain degree. Anybody who scales over them poops on them because that doesn't have to apply to them. You get what I'm saying? Your thing is based on the flow of logic. It isn't illogical.
There's a couple things like I'd break down like after you're done
Okay.
talking.
Yeah. Essentially, you still have to show me what type of potency your hack's able to emit at, because it's not illogical based on the flow of logic. Go ahead.
Okay. So first, going off like what you said about the Toon Force or like things that don't like make sense or like logical, is that like based on what you said, you didn't like. I'm not sure if those characters specifically have like a logic manipulation or absolute logic manipulation. What you're referring to is like subjective logic, or like someone saying like it's not logical that the Dragon Balls can bring someone back to life, like based off your comprehension or understanding here. So that's like kind of subjective logic. Like with this and like here, or absolute logic, where it says that it is the flow of here. I can also get the definition
Hold
of
up,
like flow.
before you get that, right? Look at 411 right there.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say? What does that say?
1 second. Let me open back up Discord.
Mm-hmm. You know what that says? You know where I got that from? I'm gonna read it off to you for like a little bit of bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read it off. Where was it? I'm gonna get the full thing.
Yeah.
However, simply being able to use many valued logic in a speech context does not qualify a character for this type, which is what you did. So it does not qualify a character for this type. Such characters must demonstrate true qualitative superiority to all types of dual distinctions. Naturally, only 1A characters and up can have this type, as it exists outside of all possible dual distinctions. Right?
Okay, so basically, what you just said is like what if you were to debunk it being like the actual flow of logic and reason, then yeah, sure. But what it says is like non-classical logic or like non-specific systems or binary logic, right? So that's what you're saying, like, oh, this is only a specific type, like this is only like the flow, like that doesn't
It's
count,
not
right? That's what
illogical.
you're
You
trying to
said it
like
was
equate it to,
illogical.
and that's what no, that's what you're like equivalating it to. Being illogical itself is not like, oh, it's non-classical logic, like you are illogical to all systems, or if you're stated to
I
be
said it's
absolutely
not.
like
I said it
illogical
is
or
logical.
objectively illogical,
I said it is
it's
logical.
not basic.
I said it is logical. What he's doing is
Hmm?
logical. I said what he's doing is logical. I don't think what he's doing or anything that
I
person
mean,
is
no,
doing is
you're trying to
illogical.
debunk
Actually,
someone.
let's go.
Trying to
Let's
debunk,
go. Hold on.
you're
Hold on.
trying to
Stay right
debunk
there.
being
Stay right there.
illogical.
Let's go back up to the scan. Let's go back up to the scan. Let's see what's illogical about it.
No.
Okay,
Can we
ready?
continue this point? It's very important.
No, yeah. This has to do with this point, right? So let's see what's
I
so
mean, it's
illogical.
related, but
Okay, yeah, but it has to do directly with the point. So I'm gonna go back to the scan and see what's so illogical about this guy. Let's read it off real quick. Stop. If you look like you've come up with some sort of plan, blah blah blah, I'm not gonna like waste your time. It will come to collude into me. If I perform any action like trying to pursue him, then I'll be attacked by the calamity. That's a logical sequence of events. Okay, not illogical. Let's go next, right? That's a logical sequence of events. Okay. This act of pursuit toward me will definitely be delivered back as a seance rule of calamity. He's using a reversal hack because the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. The logic and reason of this world are tied together in a continuous sequence. It's completely impossible to go beyond that sequence. It can never happen. Never. To give you, I have something, right? Blah blah blah. That's a logical sequence of events. Hack is based on the flow of logic. Next, right? Maybe it was just because we decided on it. We had the intent of seeing his face and identity in our mind when it came up the car. The intent of pursuit, right? So they got something delivered back to them because they had the intent to pursue them, and the logical sequence of events, because which is hacked based on, stopped them from doing so. That is logical. Next scan. It is absolutely not possible. Overcoming the flow of calamity, wonder of youth simply cannot happen, right? But if something that does not exist in this world does exist somewhere else, if they're past it, if it's something that is not affected by the logic of this world, and you just like just whatever, he doesn't say anything about that. He might, extrapolate upon what he was saying there, like a half scan. This
I
world,
don't get your
okay,
point.
okay, next one, okay, next one. This world follows an
You're reading.
interconnected chain.
I want to know
Okay, it's the
your
same thing.
point.
So he's saying the same thing over and over again. The logical sequence of events is hacked based off a logical sequence of events in the flow of logic. Nothing he's doing is illogical.
That's not what.
Okay, you're saying that what he's
listen.
performing. You're saying what he's look.
You said
This has to do exactly with what you're talking about because I'm about to explain to you right now.
Yes,
You
it does
just try
have
to
to do
claim.
exactly, but
You
you're
just
trying
hold up.
to
You
debunk
just
in the
try to
first
claim.
place
You
being
try to
illogical
claim.
thing
You
out.
try
Like,
to claim. You try to
Jester.
claim that this is illogical. This is not illogical. There's no way this is illogical. That's dumb and that's stupid. Everything that he's doing is based off a logical sequence of events. Therefore, it would not be logical. It's based off of
That is
a
a
logical
different
sequence of events.
point in the scale.
It's not a different sub point.
That's
It's
a different.
exactly. It's in
You
every
address.
look. It's not a different sub point
Sure.
because it's in every
Listen,
scan that
I'll
you sent.
address that. Listen, I would call like a red herring here because
A
what
red
you're
herring?
addressing multiple things. Listen, we're addressing multiple things or your contentions in the scale. We're talking about a contention in the scale with being illogical, being outer in the first place. I went to go
God.
refute your contention, correct? Right, and then you started talking about something completely
Okay.
well. Was
It's
related.
not.
Like
It's
you
not. It's
started
not
talking about
related.
the
It's not
scale
related. Secret
acting
Eye. Okay,
above
Secret Eye.
logic. So you
Okay,
would have
Secret
to
Eye.
stick to
Secret Eye.
something.
Repeat
Yeah,
back to me what my debunk
yeah.
for your character not qualifying for plurality was. What's my debunk?
You said okay. There's a number of things. So the main points were he is not actually illogical. Or you're trying to claim that he
Oh
wasn't
wait, stop
illogical,
right there. Stop
and
right
then
there.
you were
Stop right there. Stop right there. That's my main debunk, so it has to do with the point, right? That's literally what I'm going over
well,
right
of course
now.
it does. But you went into a sub point that I addressed
I'm
and that you
not
moved
going
on
over a
from.
sub point.
But you
No,
don't want
no,
to
no, no,
address
no,
the
no,
point
no.
you.
Secret Eye. I'm not going over any sub point. I don't know why you're trying to make it look like I am. That's the exact same thing I'm doing. I'm proving why the character is logical. So if I'm proving why the character's abilities is logical, right? It's not illogical. It doesn't qualify for plurality, so the scale fails. I'm not going anywhere else. It's not a red herring. I'm directly addressing the argument that you made with direct contentions on the scan. So it's stupid to assume that I'm
So
going
you agree
off
being
road.
illogical it's plural.
What?
You agree being illogical
I never
qualifies for
agreed to anything.
illogical.
I never agreed to anything.
You were trying to
Same here,
debunk
Mike.
multiple
I
things
agree.
at the same time, and I tried to
I'm
contend one of
debunking
your
one
points.
thing.
Any logical,
I'm debunking one thing. I'm
hmm?
debunking one thing. I literally caught you because I
You're
asked
trying
you
to you're
what's
debunking
my
one
debunk
scale.
to your
Like
scale.
it's like
Look,
it's just a
I
loaded
asked you. I'm asking
statement.
again.
It's a
I
loaded
asked you
statement.
what's
You're
my
addressing.
debunk to your scale, and then you told me, oh, to say why this is
I
logical
said
is
two
not illogical.
points. That's a straw man. You know I wasn't saying that. I said
What? You just
there's
said it right
multiple
now.
points. I said there was multiple points in your contentions with my scale, or multiple contentions, or
And you said that was the
multiple
main
sub
point.
points, right?
And you said that was the main
You're
point,
making
right?
a you're making a loaded statement. It's a loaded
A loaded
statement.
statement? Okay. I asked you, what was my direct contention with your character, right? With your scaling. And it's me proving your character is
You
not
had
logical,
two.
right? And you said that was
You
the
had two.
look, hold up. And you said that was the main point. So if I'm going over your scan and
No,
showing a
I didn't.
consistency, shut up, hold up. If I'm going over your scan and showing a consistency of why your character is not illogical and everything that he's doing is logical and based on the flow of logic, right? Debunking your scale entirely. That's literally what it is. It debunks your scale entirely. You can't say that I'm going off road if you literally verbatim just told me in my face that that's the main point. That's not a sub point, so it's stupid of you trying to say that. I'm not going on a sub point. I'm directly addressing your argument. Your scaling. You really dropped two characters. If I'm directly addressing your scaling of your character being illogical, because your scaling was your character being illogical qualifies you for plurality, and why he doesn't qualify for that, which I posted the first statement, and I addressed everything else as to why he follows the flow of logic, is not
Do
transcendent
you
of
not know the
all types
password?
of dual distinctions, right? He is not plurality. That's not what he qualifies for. It's the same thing I'm going over. You
These are
can't tell me I'm going off
so
road.
Neil's birthday.
Okay, to
Okay,
continue.
so I understand where you're coming from. You still address the multiple points in like one statement, trying to make it. You're oversimplifying your contentions to the scale because of course there's going to be multiple contentions to the scale, and then you just straight up like lied about like what I said about it. So I said you had a multiple contentions scale or multiple sub points based on my understanding of what your contentions to the scale were. I said one, you cut me off, and then summarize that as all your contention to the scale or as the answer to your question when that was not the full answer to your question. So if you would like to go over that, if you would like to go over him being logical or not, or just debate that right now or debate that point, we can go over that. But this one about any logical like valued system is either like you have to address that or you have to address that with me or you have to drop it because you're making a loaded statement.
Okay. I didn't like hear like half what you just said. Tell me that half part again.
Okay.
The half of it.
So from my comprehension and from what I heard from what you said, you had two problems with the scale.
Uh-huh.
I addressed one of the points as you were making them. You wanted to go to the first point. And when you asked me about what your contentions for the scale were, I was naming. I said you had 2 points or multiple contentions. I named one of them. You cut me off and you oversimplified it and summarized what my contentions to my scale
Do you know
work.
why I cut you
So
off
what?
right there? Do you know why I stopped you right there? Why it was necessary for me to stop you? Right? Do you know why? Because
Why?
you said quote for quote that I'm going off of it. We could address this later. I'm on a sub point of the main point. So then I asked you, right, to prove why I wasn't on a sub point, I asked you what was my contention to your scale. Then you brought up how contention against your character being illogical or not, right? And you said that was the main
Two.
point. Hold on. And you said that was the main thing. That was the main thing right there. And then you were about to go into a sub point. Then I stopped you right there because I'm like, okay, if that's what I'm directly addressing right now, it's not a sub point. Stop saying it is, and I can continue with why your character is not illogical, right? Because your character doing illogical things and being illogical quality, right? Which is your direct skill. So if I'm giving direct contentions against why your skill doesn't work, right? I'm not going off topic. There's nothing loaded about this. I'm giving it to you straight up. I'm telling you straight up, your character is not illogical and he doesn't qualify for this. How is loaded? It's a direct contention to the entire scale. It's not a sub point. It's nothing like that. I'm telling you straight up, right? This, and this, right? It's all following a logical sequence of events. It's based off of the flow of logic. So it's not illogical. Anything your character is doing, right, doesn't qualify him for what plurality is. Because on plurality, on the exact same thing, backing up what I said, right? Value logic in a feat context does not qualify your character this type. Literally right there, supporting what I'm saying, right? On top of everything I already just said. So everything I said directly addressed your character not being illogical. Nothing crazy. It's not a sub point. It's direct. It's direct. Like to your argument. I'm not speaking Chinese. There's no way. All right, go.
Okay. So basically that like
Speaking Mongolian.
it's like it's strong. Trying to say that it doesn't even qualify, but illogical. But instead of like arguing that, let's just go over like what you were saying. Like the flow or sequence doesn't actually count as like it being the flow of logic itself.
I never
So
said
if
that.
we go back
I
and read,
never said that. Never.
what did you
Yeah,
say?
what are
And you
you
said the
talking?
sequence is
I
not
never said that. I
a
said
form
your
of.
character is hacked based on the flow of logic. That's what I said. I never. What you just said right there. I never said.
You were
I don't
saying
know
that
you.
it isn't. You're trying to make a distinction. You're saying there's a distinction between the flow, or him saying it's a flow of logic versus it actually being
What?
like just
Never
absolute
brought that up.
logic.
I just said your character is
What are
hacked
you
based off
talking
the flow of
about?
logic.
That's
Never,
that's the assertion.
never.
I'm
You
proposition.
could. No, I never made that assertion. You could run back the recording after it's posted. I never made that assertion. I just said I said it like 4 times. Your character is hacked based off the flow of logic. That's what it is. It's not illogical in any way. It's my whole argument.
So that's what I'm saying. Like your point is that you're trying to say that the flow of logic, being above the flow of logic or logic and reason, isn't like illogical. Okay,
What?
so I'm
Not
contending
what
that
I
right
said.
here. So, if,
What are you
okay, well
doing?
that's your
That
point.
was weird. Okay, continue.
Okay, so if we go up to the scan, if you go like look at the one with like the motorcycle, overclouding the flow of calamity, whenever you could simply not happen. If something that does not exist in the world is somewhere else, if perhaps something that is not affected by the logic of this world. So he's comparing, or he's asserting that the flow of calamity or the logic of calamity is the logic of the world, or he's able to dictate such. So if it's if calamity is the flow of like logic and reason, and
Mm-hmm.
he can intend or like decide when that takes effect, as shown with the person dying by the chair, basically, is that he can decide how the flow of logic or reason takes effect, as well as it being asserted or implied that it is actually the logic of the world or of
Okay.
the jojo. So it says this chain of logic as well. So it's
Uh
basically
huh.
referring to it and multiple synonyms of being logic or being how logic works and universe. So
Okay, so that's all I was saying. It's his hacks based on the flow of logic. Okay, that's what I said.
and it's also just is logic or absolute logic.
Of the world.
Because he's referring to it as a flow. He's referring to it as a chain, and he just refers to it as logic in
Yeah, a
general.
logical sequence of events.
And by flow,
Yes,
here,
one logical sequence of events. One thing
not
will logically lead to another. Yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about.
So
What's that?
basically,
Flow. Okay, yeah, I already know.
okay,
I already know what flow is. It's sequence of events. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's okay.
But you understand it is logic because it's referring to how logic is dictated. Like he can dictate how logic
Yeah, his ability is
occurs.
Yeah, his ability is logical. Yeah, his ability is logical. Yes.
That's Wonder View, correct?
Yeah. His ability is
You agree?
logical. Yes, it's a logical ability. Yes.
Yeah. He has domain over logic, so he controls logic.
Of the world.
Does he not? Yeah, so he controls logic.
Okay. Prove to
Absolute
me
logic, right?
why
Yeah.
prove to me
So
why
he
his
logic.
no prove to me why his ability works on a multiversal scale. Go.
That's not who I'm scaling. I'm scaling Gappy.
You're so stupid, man.
Gappy? Okay. So you're
Sorry,
saying that he
the
was
guy.
beyond the guy who almost touched him?
No, the guy says you can use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity, and the logic and reason of calamity is the logic of the world, or is the logic, flow of logic, chain of logic. It is logic.
Okay. Logic.
That's what I just explained.
Okay, hold on. Calamity is an event causing great and often sudden damage or distress or disaster, right? That's what they're based off of.
Calamity
That's
is
what.
the same in this case.
Okay. He said that's what their world is based off of. That's the logical reasoning their world is based off of. Calamity, correct? Why does that apply to everybody? So let's go. That's calamity, right?
I mean, why does that apply to everybody?
Hold on, that's calamity.
Logic.
That's calamity. Let's go look up the definition of what logic is in itself, right? Logic in itself is reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity, and or a system or set of principles underlying the arrangement of elements in a computer or electronic device so as to perform a specific task. That's logic in a whole. Calamity, one thing, then we have logic in a whole. Calamity is an event.
Repeat that.
Calamity is an event causing great or often sudden damage or distress, a disaster. If their world is based off the logic of calamity, and he's above calamity, he's above an event causing great or often sudden damage or distress. Calamity is
that's the wrong application of it. It's stated that calamity isn't just this definition of calamity is how calamity works in here or like in it's stated. It's stated that the calamity in this case.
Bro, like via definition is literally what he's doing. Like I say what he's doing.
It does via the definition, passive and a sense of like writing doesn't necessarily mean passive in terms of verse battle or like a standard verse battle like assumptions,
why are you
right?
talking about passive?
That's not how it works.
To do with what I'm talking about right now. Him redirecting.
You're using a definition.
Him redirecting calamity. He's using a hack that redirects calamity, right? And calamity is an event. Calamity is an event causing great or often sudden damage or distress, disaster, right? He broke some nigga's leg. He threw calamity at him and he snapped his leg, right? But you just saying that he's above calamity makes him above logic, meaning that the guy is illogical and he qualifies for plurality. Dumb. Because he was
using the wrong application. I'm
not using the wrong application. If his ability, like it's in my face, bro. SecretEye, it's in my face. He literally redirected calamity to somebody's legs and snapped his leg. There's no way what I'm saying doesn't apply to this.
Are you reading the scans that it says that calamity is logic? It's the flow of logic and it's the chain of logic, right? So you using using the definition of calamity in a different sense and trying to apply it here when there's different applications because of the word, the meaning in this show or manga
What's
is
that saying?
different, it doesn't apply
What's that
to
scan?
false equivalence. You're trying to apply something.
No,
You're trying to
no,
apply
no,
the
no.
word, or you're trying to apply the definition or the meaning in a
You
different
know what he
sense
said?
to what it is
You
here.
know what he said? SecretEye? What he saying that scan? What he saying that scan? 'Cause
What?
he took his words. You did a little word salad there. Like you conjugate his words. What he said, and I'm gonna read it off from your scan, right? What he said in specific was this: you can use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity.
And the calamity is the chain of logic. It is logic, and it's the flow of logic.
Based on
It's
what?
absolute logic.
Based on what?
Do you not see the scans where it's stated?
Which one? The bicycle one?
If there perhaps exists something that is not affected by the logic of this world, it's a chain of logic. It's impossible to go overcome this logic. It's a flow of logic and reason. Calamity. Let's just forget that it is what it is. Let's take an example. It's AirPod.
Okay.
AirPod is
Okay, I don't even want to go over that.
something.
I'm gonna go over the scans real quick. I'm talking about calamity and logic.
Yeah.
Okay, the motorcycle scan.
Yeah.
He says it is absolutely not possible, right? Overcoming the flow of calamity, wonder review simply cannot happen, right? Then he says, but if something that does not exist in this world does exist somewhere else, there perhaps exists something that is not affected by the logic of the world. Him verbatim admitting that things out of this world cannot be affected by his flow and judgment of calamity. Right? That's one. We're getting there. We're getting there one. Right? And I don't even think you're using wonder review. Then he starts talking about what calamity is, blah blah blah. It's a connected chain of logic, right? This world follows an intricate chain of logic regardless of what type of ability you have. To overcome that chain of logic and launch an attack that touch me is simply, right? Well then I think this is the next scan, right? Punch no, I don't think he posted the next.
Yo, Jester.
What's up?
It's been 2 hours, my dude.
You serious? Yes, I think.
Yes.
Yes,
Please hurry this,
help with
bro.
the
Please.
Okay. I'm gonna hurry it up. I'm gonna hurry it up.
I swear to God, if you debunk the one review and then it goes on to like some like Jotaro Kujo, I'm gonna slap you.
He dropped.
Yeah, he goes to Notorious B.I.G.
Bro, I'm gonna
Private.
go to your house and slap you in the face if you keep this going on.
You wanted to use JoJo stands in general. I'm just debunking.
Yeah,
I'm just debunking them left and right. I'm throwing debunks left and right.
Bro, it's been 2
Oh,
hours. Please end this.
tough. Just
Amiki's
stop
getting
it,
tired
bro.
of his OBS. His computer's probably gonna
Bro,
blow up
just
if it records too much.
Okay. I could go to I'll go to conclusion. I'll spare like I'll go to conclusions. I'll go to because yeah, it's like a blatant debunk. Because he's just gonna be like stubborn and not give it up. So
We don't care. Just keep on going.
Wait, Jester, did you argue immeasurable speed because of hit?
Yeah.
Despise. Shut up. Let him finish.
Bro.
So ass, bro.
Let it fly.
Honestly, you said he was writing too.
I did say I was riding.
Yeah,
Come
okay.
on now.
Alright.
Okay. Secret, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You want to continue?
I mean, it's just going in circles, and I feel like you're not getting my point.
No, because I literally just told you that what he overcame is the logic of calamity. They like clarified it.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless you're
like,
trying
I'm
to
just
say
not saying
calamity
this
is
right.
all of logic. Unless you're saying calamity is all of logic in JoJo's verse.
I don't have
Is that
permission.
is that what you're saying?
It's
Hello?
what is stated. Yes.
So calamity is all of logic in JoJo's verse.
It's saying that it is logic.
Not in your stance.
Equals logic.
Are you just looking it up on Google right now, bro?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Calamity.
Looking up on Google right now.
Happy. Logic.
Hey, Jester, what's the name of that girl in your profile picture?
Shut up, Despise.
Bro,
Down horribly. Down
Oh,
Her
no,
name
horribly.
is
no.
Revy from Black Lagoon.
Fire,
Revy from Black Lagoon.
Bro,
Get him out of here.
bro.
Get him out of here. Back
Get
him
out
up.
of the
Saying
depths
the
of
profile
oblivion,
picture
bro.
looks fire, but you don't.
Okay, it's Revy from Black Lagoon. Now,
It's
Yeah,
Revy
now
from
you
Black
just see him
Lagoon.
from
Now go be
Seoul.
horny somewhere else.
For real.
I was wondering because I'm gonna steal it after Jester changes his.
You're lame as hell.
Oh my god, bro.
You're gonna dig up some souls for Evie, but
Man, my
sheesh.
man's out here on Google trying to find out why
Bro,
calamity
you know,
is
actually, when
logic.
Azazel was
Yeah,
debating
looked up
somebody,
a
right, for
feed on
7
Google.
hours. He was debating for 7 hours, right? And legit, he bought 2 Gwenpool guidebooks from Amazon just for the debate. It was like $40 a
That's
piece.
so
Wait,
lame.
who did?
Yeah, he literally did that, bro.
Wait, who did? Who did?
No, Azazel was debating somebody, right? And he bought 2 Gwenpool guidebooks. I think they were like $20 a piece or $40 a piece, right? But he bought them just for the debate.
Bro, that is.
I'd quit. And you're addicted if you spend 40 fucking bucks
Who's
to
the
win a
judge?
debate. Like,
Wait,
you're
who's the judge?
Yeah, Azazel
There
was
was
just
no
that
judges,
nigga.
bro.
Azazel was just that nigga.
A fat like.
Bro, he went to Amazon, he searched up Gwenpool guidebooks and got it.
Dang, bro.
That's
Wait,
lame.
Jester, who's the judge?
I could have got a 10-piece chicken nugget with
Tommy
all
Keith's
the
the
Ah,
judge.
nah,
Bruh.
Oh wait,
Oh my
everybody
God,
else hold
Jacob.
on. They're still
Like-
doing it.
man down here cashing, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I could like buy a shirt from like
That's
Okay,
Bro,
wait.
we're not even
Like,
look, bro. We're not
40
even debating right now. My man's on Google right now trying to prove why calamity is logic.
Oh, he texted calamity logic, Gappy over calamity.
I heard
No,
no, like
no,
like,
can we like
like,
not
like,
ignore that? Like,
I heard him
Zazel out here
type
like
it in right
spending
now
money on
and
fictional
speak it to
debates.
himself. I just heard him like say
so
back to
like,
himself.
is calamity
He's like this.
the
He went into
flow
like
of
this.
logic?
He went like this in his mic. He went, calamity is logic. He went,
Stop making
I
fun of
kid
him,
you
bro.
not,
He
bro. I kid you
really
not.
just
He's not
overtime.
saying
Guys,
it out.
bro,
It's
why
very
y'all pounding home slice?
I only do that when I cannot find a
Slice.
scam. You can't even say you've never done that before.
Yeah, let's just start making fun of the spies.
Fuck you.
Wait, Ruzina, you think Uzi over Cardi? Are you insane? Name like 5 Uzi songs, go.
Spitting.
No, name 10.
This
Uzi
dick in your
songs.
mouth,
Name-
nigga.
10
Can't
Uzi
even
songs.
name 10
Jacob,
songs.
Jacob,
Ah, you
the one where he
Name
repeats
10.
Sasuke for 50 minutes. That one.
Yeah, Ruzina, like name 10 Uzi
Yeah,
songs.
that song entire like
I
it's
feel like
entirely better than
Uzi does repeat
Cardi's
himself a lot.
for
No,
He says one word for.
honestly still spitting. Bitch, it's so
Bro, are you still trying to prove why calamity is logic?
Yo, how long have you been in
Oh
Bro,
my
you're not
God,
finding
bro.
anything on it. That's stupid.
Calamity.
Calamity equal logic. Gappy over calamity. Gappy over logic.
That's like dumb.
Wait,
I didn't know.
that's so ratty.
Gabby's
That's not even a scaling
Listen,
ingredient.
What?
if you read the scam, it just says that it is. Like, I don't
I
even trying to
read it.
pretend that it just.
I
it really proves it.
read them off to you, bro.
Read
It
it
doesn't say
and
that.
argued against it.
I
Yes, you
literally
read
look.
them off to
I read it
me.
word for word. I read it word for word. Look. SecretEye. I don't know where you like dragging this, bro. You're on your third stand and it's still failing for you.
I'm not tracking anything. You're the one who's trying to find something right now. I proved my point, and you're under like
What?
burden
I'm
of
the one that's
rejoinder.
trying to find something right now. What? He's bugging out. You're bugging out. I'm the one
Yes.
trying to find something
Why are
right
you
now.
trying to prove a point if you already proved it?
I'm the
Yeah,
one
that's
trying to
what I
find
was
something
lying
right
to
now.
yourself.
Did you just say I'm the one trying to find something right now?
You're such a sped.
Did he say, no, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Are you not?
He
Are you
did.
not?
He did.
I'm waiting on you, big dog.
Typing. You're the one
You know what?
typing.
Yo, bro.
I'm not checking
Literally,
anything.
my straight contention was that I don't see where he said that, right? I read him off. I read off the scans, and he even says you could use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity. That's what he said right there in that scan. Look, I'm gonna post it again. Look,
Hey,
niggas don't think
Jester,
I'm
all I'm
crazy or
saying, bro,
something.
you took 2 hours on somebody that we don't even know.
Bro, look, cause these are like,
Listen,
I'm on the third.
listen.
It's like
Doesn't
he
matter.
basically look. It's basically 3 debates.
Can we all agree that SecretEye won against Jester? High def?
No.
High def?
No.
Secret like beat up Jester. It was like beating him
Bro,
badly.
Even if
he will.
even if
This
Jester
is
was
what
so
basically,
good.
just be a
bro. Y'all are so beat.
You're trying to argue something. It's stated.
In all
Shut
seriousness,
your mouth.
Jester, what was your contention to whatever that you just sent? Like, cause I'm guessing they
Nothing,
sent
he
it.
got beat up.
He
He
said.
got beat up.
He said. No, shut up. Stop moving. So the reason why this is 2 hours, he's using all of JoJo's there. So can somebody stop typing like that and just giving them?
You can mute them.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. What I said. Okay. I wanna speed this up and go to conclusions. Right. What I said was basically What I said
Yeah, I'll send it
was
once
basically.
again.
Hello,
It just
hello.
states it. Like, I don't get it.
Oh my god.
What I said is basically that he literally states it right there. You could use it to go beyond the logic reason of calamity. Calamity is a logical
It's
sequence
said
of events.
multiple times he's above logic. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
Where?
Doesn't?
Right,
What?
Okay, continue.
That's
What was
not what he
it?
said there. That's not
Calamity
what he
is
said there.
a
He didn't
sequence.
say that there. He didn't say that there. Oh, I'm gonna
Anyway, I saw
I'm gonna go.
Mythic. Mythic's one of the people that replied my comment.
Go,
So is
hurry up. I'm
Mythic
gonna
gonna
go.
debate you?
Yeah, sure.
Hurry
I'll
up.
take
I'm
one
gonna.
minute.
Yeah, when I come back,
my
I'll debate
lord.
you next.
1 second.
Jester ducking.
Yeah, I said I'll be back in like 30 minutes just to come debate.
Okay, sorry, ducking. Got it.
No, you can stay right here and wait
Jester
for me.
duck,
Bro,
bro.
don't let me get Azazel in here, bro. He'll
Wait,
kick you all
wait,
the way until
SecretEye
12
just
a.m.
beat up Jester? Oh,
No,
Jester, don't let me get
they're
Azazel.
memeing. They're
He'll
memeing. He literally.
take you all the way to
no
12
one's
a.m.
memeing,
Oh
bro.
my god, bro, y'all are
No,
so
this
mean.
Zeta got unlimited stamina.
Can y'all hurry
That
up?
nigga's
Can y'all shut
Batman.
up? Can y'all shut up and hurry up, bro? 'Cause I'm trying to finish it right now.
Yo, Jester, the tournament started
Alright,
No,
yeah.
no, Saturday.
Just out
Look,
and state
okay,
it's
shut
above
Saturday.
up,
logic. That
shut
ain't
up, shut up,
and
shut
calamity
up.
is
I'm
logic.
muting
I
everybody.
don't
Oh,
get it.
hello, there.
You
Okay,
gonna start muting people?
continue.
Yeah, we have a judge, right?
No.
No, it's just like
Nope.
his VC. Like, whatever.
Oh, VC's gonna beat you up, bro. Actually, no, we could all meme and give you the win, bro.
Yeah, don't meme like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's
Damn,
that's
damn,
weird. That's
Zeta.
not weird. Secret. I'm gonna go over it again. I'm gonna read that scan back. I'm gonna read the first scan I posted, and I'm gonna read that scan that you just posted back. Okay? Okay. And then we can stop it right there. You could use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity. So they made a separation that logic isn't calamity. That's stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've heard all day. They said it is absolutely not possible overcoming the flow of calamity. Right? One of you simply cannot let that happen. It perhaps exists something. Wait, but and something that does not exist in this world but exists somewhere else. It perhaps exists something that is not affected by the logic of this world. He's not talking. He's not saying calamity is logic. That's retarded because it's not. He literally differentiated it. You debunked your own scan with another scan that you posted. He differentiated it. It's not what he's talking about. And don't ask me for context. Don't ask me for context because the context that they gave was that logic is like calamity is a logical application of something. It falls under logic. So he's not above logic if you're above calamity. You're just above some certain like sequence of events. That's stupid. So you have to give a potency to your habit. I'll go to conclusion so I can go. Go to conclusion. Cause you gave your argument, I gave mine. I feel like I won. Go. I'll run a poll and let them meme me.
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
No, we
Okay.
cannot hear you.
Oh, I had to switch my phone. I have to walk my fucking dog.
Man, this is
Alright,
like the third debate basically.
basically, yeah, doesn't matter. Alright, so, Jester, I don't know what you're trying to contend if it says multiple times he's above logic.
Are you blind or
Never
stupid,
said
bro?
that.
Which one?
Never said
Look, look,
that.
look, look, look,
I
look, look,
think
look.
this
I'm secret. I don't know if you're unintentionally ratting or you're illiterate. Because you're actually like you're about to throw me off like my seat right now. I'm literally just about to like delete the server because of
Yeah,
how
about to throw
stupid
him
that
out of
was.
seat, bro.
Logic. I look secret. I read the scan back to you. Not one time does he say he's above logic. I literally read the scan before that, and he differentiated. You could use it to go beyond the logic of calamity. Calamity is a logical. Shut up. Calamity is the logical application of something. The scan that you posted doesn't say not one time he's above logic. They literally say that there's something that does not exist in this world or
Yeah.
exists somewhere else. They're not affected by the flow of logic. So you can't like. What are you trying to say, bro? He doesn't say that once.
It's very simple. It's stated, right? Calamity is logic, right? It's stated he's above logic, right? And it's stated he's above the logic of
Secret. Where is it stated that
calamity equals
calamity is logic?
logic, and he's above the
You're a
calamity, and he's
retard. Where
above
is it stated
logic.
that
Is he not?
calamity is logic?
Yeah.
Where is it stated that
Is the
calamity
chain
is
of
Wait.
logic?
logic?
You're a
Chain
retard.
of
You're
logic.
sped. You're
Is
sped. Okay. So this scan doesn't
Yeah.
the
exist.
chain of
So
logic?
the
It says
so the
flow of
okay
logic,
okay
and it
okay
says that it's not
okay
above the logic of the
okay
world.
okay. Secret. So because you're retarded, I'm gonna post this scan a couple times. Control paste. I'm gonna post it. Control paste. Let's make sure you can read it this time. Control paste. Okay. Him saying you could use it to go beyond the
Okay.
logic of reason and calamity.
You can
What do you
copy and
think he's
paste?
saying there? What is he saying there? Secret? No, let me. What? Hold up. Let me spray my eyes. I'm foggy. My glasses have to be foggy. Okay. I'm looking again. I'm looking again. You can use it to go beyond the logic of reason and calamity. Okay. You trying to say calamity is logic and say that in any of your scans? Stop being a retard. He doesn't say that in any of your scans. Going beyond calamity is not going beyond logic. You're a dumbass. That's dumb.
Damn.
I sent you.
Riz.
I sent you the definition of flow. I sent you the
Oh
scan
my
where it
god.
says the chain,
Are
bro.
you? Do
That
you
is
unironically? So now
chain.
you're using definitions because you're saying that like these
On definition.
definitions didn't
I
apply
already
earlier.
I already sent the definitions and I already explained all of
That's
it.
fine. You're trying to say that these definitions didn't apply earlier. So if I look up calamity right now and it's not a logical application of something,
I already refuted that because I explained to you that you can't just use the definition of the word in the sense when it's used differently in the show. As I said, if I have an AirPod, right? I have an AirPod, and then I take it to an anime, and the anime states that AirPod is a cake, then that means AirPod equals cake. Does it
Fuck
not?
is
Very
this
okay.
simple.
nigga talking?
Oxford Dictionary's definition for flow: move along and/or steadily and continuously in a current or stream, go from one place to another in a steady stream. That's
Damn.
logical.
AirPod is
Those
cake.
that what he's doing, or let's go to now. The action or fact of moving along in a steady, continuous stream. That's a logical application of something that falls under logic because it's logical. It's logical. Everything he's doing
The
is logical.
application of the
Calamity
flow.
isn't
The
logic.
application
Look,
of
look,
the
look, look,
flow.
look, 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 look. Before I freak out and spurg on you because you're being like dumb and like repeatedly dumb,
He gonna
right?
freak
I'm
out.
gonna read. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read the definition of calamity and what calamity is: an event
Oh.
causing great or often sudden damage or distress, which is a disaster. It's a logical sequence of events that cause something to somebody else, which is what he's doing. So don't tell me that doesn't apply to the show because it's literally show. In the scan, I'm looking at it and it's literally what he's doing. Right? That's his ability. So he's using calamity against people. Right? It's a logical sequence of events. Right? And they literally in the scan differentiate it. They literally in the scan differentiate it and say you can use it to go beyond the logic of reason and calamity. It's a logical application of something. It falls under logic. I'm not stupid. I could read. I don't know if you're illiterate. I'm looking at it right here.
So you're saying that it's a logical application to go beyond or be superior to logic. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my god. You're saying that
No, no, no.
calamity is
No.
logic.
You just said
You're
no,
a
no. Wait.
retard.
You just said the logical application of it if he's going beyond of it or going beyond it. I've
I said it
Wait,
falls under
what?
logic. You not you,
How does
you not understanding what
it?
I'm saying? Oh my god, bro. I don't know if I'm being dumb, but I think that's like common sense. What I'm saying. There's no way.
It's common
This is
sense,
on
bro.
recording too. This is on recording too. This is like crazy.
Yo,
Calamity.
nobody's listening to this recording, Jester.
Calamity is not logic. That's dumb. I already debunked it and they differentiated in the scan that you posted. So
No, you use a name of calamity and a different definition and a different application of it. I use the chain.
are you serious?
I
You
explained how it applies here.
you
Like
can't be
you
serious. You can't be serious. Okay,
is
let's
that
read
like
back.
name
Okay.
fallacy or something? Is that name fallacy to like be
Okay.
like, oh,
Ready?
it
Ready?
means
Ready?
this and
Ready?
this,
Ready?
so I guess it
Ready?
just doesn't
Ready?
mean that. And
Ready?
the
Ready?
reverse about it.
Ready? Ready? Look.
Yeah, ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Look. Look. You could use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity. What is the
Yep.
wonder of you doing?
Repeat that. The last part.
What is the wonder
The
of
last.
you doing?
What is Wonder View doing? What do you mean? What is the Wonder View doing?
Okay. He redirects calamity towards somebody else and pops them. So if what he's doing is literally the definition of what calamity is, he's redirecting calamity.
Oh
And what
my
oh, shut up, shut up. Don't
lord.
even start with that. Oh my god. I don't care, bro. Because that's literally what like it's so blatant. It's so blatant. You're being an idiot. It's like it's disgusting to me. You're like, oh my god. The verbatim definitions that are being given. Like I don't care, bro. You're being an idiot. He literally says it in the scan. You can use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity. But apparently you're illiterate and you're missing your glasses, so you can't read that, right? And you're saying
I'm having a mental
it's a
breakdown.
name fallacy.
I'm having a
It's a name.
mental
What name
breakdown.
fallacy am I using?
Wait,
What's a
no.
name fallacy,
Wait,
bro?
no, are you
What?
trolling?
It's a name fallacy.
Wait,
A name
are you
fallacy?
trolling me? Or
You're
are you
dumb.
joking?
Are you
You're
just
dumb. It's a
name
name fallacy.
fallacies?
are you just
It's a
wait,
name fallacy.
wait,
He's literally what he's literally doing is redirecting calamity. It's not. It's like common sense,
are
bro.
you
I don't
joking?
want to. Like, I say
Are
what he,
you
and I read
joking?
the definition. I read the definition of what calamity is. Right, an event causing great and often sudden damage or distress to it, or a disaster. Right, that's a
I'm
logical
calling you
sequence of events and falls under logic. I'm not
pretty
dumb. You're being an idiot. Stop being a retard, bro. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you okay,
I
bro?
don't care,
Ad
right?
hominem.
Here,
I'm directly addressing your argument just because I'm
That wasn't
associating a
ad hominem.
retard.
Ad hominem was like you say your argument's stupid because you're stupid.
Yeah, bro. Thank you.
He
That's
called you
not ad
stupid
hominem.
without like
attack
saying your argument's
when you
stupid.
attack the character, you attack.
No, ad
Okay, I'm
hominem
a
is when you call your
hold on,
argument stupid because you're stupid.
That's fine, that's fine. I'm addressing your argument, right, with what I had with my contention, but just on top of that, you're a retard. Like on top of me addressing your argument, you're just a retard for having an argument in the first place. But I'm addressing with an actual argument. I'm
Here,
not. It's
so
not an ad hominem.
I
I'm
want
not telling you
you to
that you're
do right.
stupid just because your argument is stupid. I'm actually addressing your
So,
argument
That's ad
so what I
hominem.
coherently.
want you to
You're
do
just an
right
idiot, bro.
is scroll. Let's scroll. Scroll to
Ad
where it says
hominem,
a
bro. Like,
name fallacy, Jester.
okay, bro.
Scroll to where it says name fallacy, please.
Is a name fallacy? Why is it a name fallacy? What's the name fallacy? What did I mention was what out of all I mentioned was a name fallacy?
You're trying to equate to the definition of calamity to how the application is used in the versus battle or in the show or how Wonder Review uses it. So you're making a false equivalency and you're using a name.
What? What? Do you know what definition of calamity I used? What do you think the definition of calamity I used came from?
It doesn't matter what the definition means. It really
Okay,
doesn't. If
you use. Okay,
if
shut
the
up.
definition
Shut
differs
up,
from
shut up,
how
shut
it's
up, shut up, shut
used
up, shut
or
up. You shut
explained
up,
in the
secret.
show or
You
in the
use
manga, then it doesn't
secret,
matter what the
secret.
definition
You
is.
okay, secret. You pulled up, right, an Oxford definition of flow to apply it there, right? I pulled up the Oxford definition of calamity to apply it to what your character is doing. Because logically, that's what he is doing, right? Because
No,
what
you're not.
calamity, that's what literally what calamity is. It's a
No,
logical
you're not.
sequence of events. So if you're telling me, right, that being above calamity makes you above all logic, and you unironically believe that, you're dumb and retarded on top of it. What is wrong with you? When they
But you're
literally
not. Why?
differentiate it, they literally differentiate it in the scan. Like everybody can meme out here, but I hope like everybody sees that you're actually that's the dumb.
You're being circular once again. I already,
I'm being
I don't know why.
circular.
Yes, I don't know why I'm still arguing with you on what the definition of calamity means in the sense. Even if you wanted to argue, which is still incorrect, but even if you wanted to argue that it's only a specific form of hacks because it's only this or that, right? What we
What? Whoa,
still
whoa,
come to
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa, whoa,
conclusion
whoa, whoa, whoa. When did I argue that? Wait, when did I argue that? Hold on. When did I argue that?
you
When did I
argue
argue
that
that? Huh?
you argue that the usage of logic in this sense wasn't like was only the flow logic or sequence of logic and not actual logic itself or like absolute
What?
logic.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat back to you what I said. Okay. If you do it again, I'm banning you.
No.
Yeah. What I said was that his ability is based off the flow of logic, right? And a logical sequence of events. That's what his ability is based off of. He redirects calamity to other people and pops their legs like we showed in the scan. Then they said in the scan that you literally posted, right? What's happening there? They actually give context to it, right? And then they said you could use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity. So they differentiated it in the show. They're saying it in the scan. You could use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity. That's a direct addressment to what you're saying. So stop being an idiot, right? They're literally saying it verbatim, right? Stop, bro. Like, what are you arguing at this point? They're literally saying it right there. You could use it to go beyond the logic and reason
Hey,
of calamity. Calamity isn't logic. That's dumb. They don't see that anywhere. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna wait right here. Show me the scan where they say calamity is logic. I'll drop the whole thing.
okay.
Jester about to lose? Question mark.
Well,
You post a motorcycle scan, you're just an idiot. Like actually, because I asked you this before, and you posted the motorcycle scan, and he says nothing about that. So, like,
talking
bro,
about what are you
I
talking
asked
about?
you, I asked you, show me where they say calamity is logic. Then you posted the motorcycle scam. Are you out of your mind?
Calamity. It's referring to the calamity's effect from Jester. What are you talking about? Are you trying to say that's not? Are you just trying to say that's unrelated to it? Are you trying to say that's like unrelated to?
Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Show me the calamity equals logic.
Oh, yeah. Before you fix it, just wait for all of them. New couple.
Jutsu, I really don't want to ban you, bro. Please.
Oh my god.
Stop it, bro.
Oh my god.
Jester, how's your day going, bro?
No, no. Man, this is the what? This is the third stand. So we basically this is like the third debate. So
The
he's already.
second, I use the first one to. I mean, the second one to scale off Gappy. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You use
Yeah.
D4C. You use D4C. Then
Yeah,
you use
yeah.
Funny
Now I'm
Valentine,
using
right?
Gappy. Yes, I'm using Gappy.
The debate end?
No, he already lost once or
No,
twice, and now we're on the
he's
we're on the
asking
Or
third.
me to get.
end this, yo. Like, it's no point. Like, he's bunked like.
I told him to end it 20 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Look, look, look. I'm a
Yo,
precog
let
now.
me just get one of Doge's fake scans as Calamity's logic.
Oh
And
really?
super.
Oh,
And
Doja's
this,
fake stands.
Jester,
Those
you
are
gonna
fake
make
stands.
Doge on that shit?
I already beat those, bro. I
Not
already
on the
beat those,
JoJo
bro.
versus Goku.
Oh my god, look, look, how much, look, I was betting money he was gonna send that first scan. Ready? He's gonna, wait, where was it again? Where, the motorcycle scan. I wanna see where he says the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. He's gonna say reason equals
One
logic.
second, one second, one second.
So are you saying
Okay,
reason is logic?
wait. I can't hear. I can't hear. All right, now talk.
Okay, so I was waiting for you to post the scan for you to say that the flow of calamity is the flow of reason. So you're saying reason is logic, right?
No, I never. No, I'm not saying reason is
Okay,
logic.
I was just asking. So reason isn't logic, right?
No, but no. It says that because the flow of calamity is the flow of logic.
What? Look, he said it again. Because the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. That's
So
what it is.
they're together in sequence, so they're directly correlated. So they're like you could equivalate them to each other. Yes.
What? He said the
It
logic
says
and look, bro. Stop. You can't read. There's no way you could read English. He said that because the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. Then he said the logic and shut up. The logic and reason of this world are tied together in a continuous sequence. If we go look up what reason is, reason is the capacity of consciously making sense of things, which is applying logic. So he's applying logic to what he's doing. Because the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. Applications. So so he's basically applying
also
like
said there's
the
the chain
logic.
of
He's okay, he's
sequence is
applying the logic of
the
calamity against
he's
people. That's
saying
what he's
okay.
doing.
What he's saying is that the chain of logic is the sequence of logic and reason and that's what he dictates or that's what he can control as shown in each of these scans where he's saying that you can't go beyond. So basically what he's saying is that logic and reason or logic and the application of logic or logic in itself is calamity because calamity is that chain of logic and he
No, there's no
dictates
way.
that
Are
chain of
you
logic.
satire? So tell me right now. Are you satire? You putting my leg right now or no?
Do you know English?
No. Yeah,
You
wait.
asked
Just
me
quick
Yo,
something
question.
secret.
Secret.
simple. Like, are you
Secret.
Actually,
Secret.
Jester
satire?
doesn't know
Does
Secret.
English. He's
anybody know
Italian.
satire? What?
Secret.
Yo,
Are you
secret.
satire? Are you like you trolling? Am I
Am I
getting trolled right
satire?
now?
My
You're not
banana.
satire.
My
Okay, so let's
banana.
read the scan
My
again.
banana.
Okay. So he's serious, bro. Okay.
Yeah,
He
Jester's never
says,
gonna
right?
like eat
Okay.
food
He
ever
says,
again.
oh my god, bro. This guy is crazy, bro. He literally says it right here. This act of pursuit towards me will definitely be delivered back as a serious wound of calamity, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. And as we know, reason
The application of
applies
logic.
logic, right? You apply logic with reasoning. The logic and reason of this world are tied together in a continuous sequence. Correct, because you use
And
reasoning
that's
to
the chain
apply
of the
logic
logic,
to
as
things.
stated in the first scan.
What?
And that's the chain. Hello?
You're saying that calamity is logic. That's not what he's saying there, idiot. He literally said it's reason, and
It is
you
the
just
chain
admitted.
of logic and
Okay,
reason. There's no sequence in chain of
he's
logic
saying
and reason.
verbatim. I can't like he's saying verbatim because the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. What is reason? Reason isn't logic. They literally differentiate it twice. That stand debunks you again. Bro, calamity is the flow
Yo.
of reason. It's the application of logic or the application of why calamity has to work on somebody.
It's the application
That's
of the chain of logic, and the chain of logic that
oh, you
dictates
just said
what
my
the
yeah,
flow is. It
there
stated
it is,
that
there
is
it is.
the
Got him, there it is. That's all one. So it is a logic.
Okay, okay.
There it is. We're done.
Both of you are going in circles, and it's hurting my
Wait,
brain.
I'm not.
Can we
I'm
please
saying.
get conclusions? Jester keeps saying it's not. You keep saying it is, and you've repeated like 7 times in the last 30
Wait,
minutes.
so are you
Please
guys
stop.
gonna conclude the whole debate or concede the point or conclude the point?
I'm
Yo,
trying to conclude
Conclude
the
the
debate.
whole
yo,
debate.
secret eye.
Yes,
Conclude
conclude
the
the whole
debate.
3 hours.
debate.
3 hours.
Well,
Yo,
I didn't know
secret
that it's
eye.
been going on for 3 hours. That's why I asked.
Conclude the
2
Yo,
debate.
hours.
secret eye.
2 hours. 2 hours. Conclude the debate.
Why
Yo,
is fake
secret
GTA?
eye.
So can we conclude the debate?
Yeah.
Go to conclude. Okay, yes. And now, anybody that was here the whole time and actually listening, because I fell asleep halfway,
Yeah, I was listening. I was
judge.
Yeah, I
listening.
was
I
listening,
was listening.
Okay.
but I don't fight good judgment, yo. Shit was pop.
Yeah, bro, I was listening,
These
bro. I give
niggas
a
are
judgment already.
bonkers,
Y'all don't
yo.
need a
So you
conclusion.
better not be
This is
high while
like
you were listening,
this is
bro.
like rat.
Nah, this
This is
man
like
juicy
rat
probably.
on like another level.
We
Like I
looking
thought I
Bro,
was
crackers,
ratting.
bro.
I
Okay,
thought I was
Mr.
ratting.
Immeasurable Speed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought I was ratting. I said I was ratting, but this is next year. And he unironically believes it too. Like go ahead, go ahead, secret. Like
All right,
secret. Go
Okay.
so
yeah. Go to
So I
conclusion.
took out this debate because
make it shut up. I'm gonna give my judgment.
No,
All
we
right,
gotta go to
so
conclusion.
by insubstantial
Go to shut
reasons
this nigga
why
up,
Let
yo.
the
basic.
man
the
conclude.
immeasurable
Yo,
speed scale
go to
was flawed.
conclusion.
It was based in its power or like his power level at the time. And I believe with the logic and chain of reason point, I had proved on multiple occasions that calamity was the flow or chain of logic and reason and dictated so, and that because Gappy went beyond it or surpassed the flow of logic and reasoning, and it was just outrightly stated he was above logic, um, that he would qualify for plurality. And I believe that at some point Jester became circular in terms of trying to pinpoint pinpoint like uh pinpoint like problems that he saw on the scale that actually supported each other and just became circular throughout like the rest of the debate. So that's why I think
Okay. The reasoning why I think I won, he had no contentions with my multiversal or my low multiversal scaling. That I gave reasoning as to why Goku was weaker than Hit, meaning his overpowering of Hit or overpowering the ability would not be smart. He gave no contention as to why I was saying Goku was weaker than Hit. He gave zero contention to Goku being weaker than Hit. So his overpowering point makes no sense, and me proving that Goku moves in zero time, meaning that the speed equation no longer applies to him, means Goku is immeasurable speed and low motion. That stands there. He already dropped like 2 stands in the debate, and then we went into the third stand, which is the one to review, right? He literally in the scans that he posted, and literally says he claimed, this is his claim, calamity is logic. I asked it where they showed and directly stated that calamity is logic. Never posted it. It says in this scan you could use it to go beyond the logic and reason of calamity, meaning they differentiated it. They differentiated it there. Then he says again, right? Because the flow of calamity is also the flow of reason. So if calamity equals reason, right? It's not logic because I already asked it. Is reasoning or is reason logic? And then he said no. So if he said no, that's a literal concession. Like he literally just gave it up. That calamity is not logic. So in all points, I think I like heavily won. So that's it. That's my judgment.
Imagine Jester thinking he won.
Don't meme out, please. Don't meme out.
Don't mean out, bro.
Chill out, chill out, chill out, chill out.
Hey, bro.
No.
All right. So my judgment is, Jester won because I think he won the last point,
Oh no.
because
He didn't listen to
Goku
anyone.
was conceited,
Uh-oh.
basically, and then like I don't think he like proved any of his points properly. I think his argument was just dumb. Uh, I think he won the Goku overwhelming hacks point. I think he gave a good reasoning for that. I think he won that. So yeah, so Secret won high diff. Yeah, good job, Jester, but Secret is just too powerful.
Oh God, bro.
Y'all are so mean.